We got two politicians in de Blasio and Governor Cuomo that don't know how to run a business.
Somebody decided to send out a really nasty email to us talking about wanting to stalk us, rape us, talking about wanting to hurt my employees.
So next step's biggest concern is just safely getting our athletes around other athletes.
If you are going to keep us shut, where's the check? Where's the support?
We are supported by the people. We're supported by everyday folks in our community.
So people are handing in their keys at record numbers, and that's really sad. You're playing with our lives.
Getting our coaches back, getting our staff back up to the capacities.
I'm balancing, I'm learning how to balance what it means to be very small and specific and still serve a larger community than I thought we would be serving.
So I just arrived at Brooklyn Chop House, pre-dinner Saturday night, and every night we're about 400, 350, 400 every night, full capacity. So we have 2 decks that we've done, and because of the demand, we got permission to build a 3rd deck. This takes up literally 1 parking space, 1.5. We're going to be hiring more people, and this can generate probably $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month to the city.
This is crazy. It's getting even crazier in New York City. The city came, made us take down 30 seats. I don't believe this. Look. They made us widen the aisleway so that everyone can pass by. It's just crazy. We're trying to survive. We're trying to, feed the people of New York City, but it's just been tough. We're here working. It's a great night. We're trying to rebound from everything that we've been going through the last couple of months.
The problem is that we had some inspectors that came and they said that it's fine. And then another inspector comes and says, well, it's not fine. It's like they keep changing the rules. And it's really, it's close to impossible to be able to function this way.
This is part of Brooklyn Dumpling Shop that's opening up in September, and this is going to be mail order around the U.S.
We just passed our plumbing inspection, but now we've got to wait for the electrical inspection to come back. There's always something, and what happens is every time pre-COVID, when there was an issue with the building department or issue with any of the trades, electric, plumbing, it gets resolved immediately. Now, when there's an issue with plumbing or electric, you don't even get an answer for 2 or 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden that joins into a month, and then you got to fix it. Then they got to come back and re-inspect. I mean, everything is just delayed. Nothing is moving on time. Like perfect case scenario, we're open at the end of September. If not, it'll probably be October, November.
Actually in Vegas now, looking at a few opportunities for the brand, and hopefully, things work out. But we're getting interest from landlords all over the world. So that's it's a blessing. But then again, we want everything to come back so that it works for everyone.
Robert and I, our mentality is, let's jump into the fire, because we really believe that there's not going to be these opportunities ever again in our lifetime.
Coach Dwayne checking in. Today the kids just got done doing a little core work. Coach E and Coach Gabe are putting them through some strenuous drills right now. So kids are fighting through. We caught a couple bodies today, but they're doing a great job here on this Saturday morning. Marcos, man, he said he'd lock you up though, man. Go. Said he'd lock you up.
Talking about. Man, so at Next Step Training, it's been really exciting just to see the kids just really bounce back from being depressed, from not having any chance of doing anything for the first couple months just because of all the uncertainty, to now with the pandemic. We actually have one of our our players that came back from Washington State. And actually during the pandemic, since we have limited amount of coaches on staff right now, he actually volunteered to help out some of our younger kids.
One of the biggest things I wanted to do was train like crazy with Coach Gabe. You know, I wanted to get back to next step training, like, you know, training every day basically. After like every training, every practice, I would try to, you know, motivate them, help them and stuff, like, you know, like give them a lift, like tell them like good job, you know, good stuff like that.
So where we got Carlos working on a little progressive shooting right now with 4 of the guys. We also have Coach Sheldon back here working on a little bit of ball handling with the other 4.
Carlos, you know, he's basically has one hand right now, or he has one hand, and you know, just his work ethic and how hard he works, it's incredible. You know, the kid does everything that everybody else does, puts in work, and it's just incredible the feedback that he, you know, he texts me all the time. Hey, Coach, thank you for everything you've done for me, and you know, without you, you know, sometimes I wouldn't make it out here to do these practices. You know, it's the little things that count.
Basically, I had a stroke in my utero, meaning like it happened like in the womb, you know, and it happened before I was born, so I couldn't do nothing about it, you know. I would say it helped me get better in a way because I have to work harder than, you know, everyone, to prove to everyone and prove to myself that I can do it, you know.
You know, Coach Gabe was just instrumental in just mentoring him throughout, you know, the good and the bad.
He was like kind of like a mentor, I'm not gonna lie. Like him and Coach Dwayne and even Coach Sheldon, they, you know, they wanted me to get better. They like talked to me like not even just about basketball, like I could talk to them about anything.
Today I wanted to be down in DC. Today is the anniversary of the March on Washington.
Thousands of people are coming to DC for a day of activism.
People came to DC from all over the country for this.
We are going to be the generation that dismantles systemic racism once and for all, now and forever.
We're not alone in this struggle and this fight anymore. It is no longer a black and white fight.
It's something that I would love to have participated in and probably would have participated in if it wasn't if we didn't have to be here opening the store, which is my responsibility and my passion and my love. And, you know, it's just hard. It's hard. I constantly have to make decisions about where to go and what to do. I'd love to fly out to Wisconsin and support the organizers there and make sure that they have books and a sustainable plan for how they want to move forward and knowing exactly what you want and what you're demanding and how to get those demands met. And at this moment, I just can't go. I have to be here with the bookshop.
So yourself, oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys are good?
Yeah, we are. Okay, hey. What I do know is that I'm still shipping books out to organizers. So, you know, I'm doing the work regardless of where I physically stand. And right now I need to physically stand in the institution that I'm building. I'm slightly concerned that as we get closer to the election, there's going to be more and more unrest. And what I've been told by some folks in the neighborhood is that I need to be very careful because this business and what it represents could be something that people might want to target. And so that's concerning. There's another bookstore in Philadelphia that's had their windows busted in 3 times. And so, you know,
targeted by hate.
We're talking about several black-owned businesses in the Philadelphia area receiving racist and threatening emails overnight.
Somebody decided to send out a really nasty email to us talking about wanting to stalk us, rape us, talking about wanting to hurt my employees. Folks have been asking me, well, why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you call the police? You gotta call the police. And even the police have called me asking why I haven't called them. And what I'll say is this, a black woman was murdered by the police. And all across the country this is happening. This isn't just one person, this isn't 2, this isn't a fluke, it's happening consistently. And so it does not make sense to me to call the police. What makes more sense is for us to make a decision about how we can create new institutions that address the issues that we have, that also honor and respect and protect and really serve us. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take over this street in a few days. We're going to protest on this street. We're going to shut it down. We're going to host what we're calling Protect or Serve Harriet's 2020 sit-in right here out here on this block, the same block where they marched with bats and other foolishness just a few weeks ago. Yeah, we're going to be a solution. We're going to come up with solutions. We're going to implement solutions. We're going to be what we need to be in this world. And then we're going to train up what we're calling some Harriets so that those folks can do that job that I was just talking about. So when you need some support, there are some people who are trained to support you that aren't trained to kill you.
I'm signing an executive order, and Judy will issue an executive directive later today, I believe, that will allow indoor dining to resume at 6 a.m. this upcoming Friday, September 4th.
Listen, I got two questions for the governor and the mayor. One is, how do you expect me to send my middle schoolers back to school in crowded hallways, but I can't open up my restaurant 50%?
A number of states moved ahead with indoor dining and found that it contributed to their either ongoing problem or resurgence.
Another night in New York City. Raining pretty heavy, but our tents have actually pulled through really great tonight.
Trying to get through these tough times as we navigate through the situation with the city, and hopefully they'll open restaurants back up and we'll have at least 50% occupancy. Right now it's just outside, as you can see.
We've been honest with the restaurant industry about the challenge, but I've also heard back that folks just want a final answer as soon as possible so they can make their plans up or down. I think it's our responsibility to give them as clear an answer in the month of September as possible.
I just want to understand the logic to that, because I've heard every excuse in the book why New York City restaurants can't open indoors, but everywhere around the boroughs can open. The second thing is, if you are going to keep us shut, where's the check? Where is the support? Where are the rent checks that you are going to subsidize by keeping us shut? I see no plan in that at all. They need to open up their checkbooks and make sure they give us rent credits or work a deal with the landlords that all us restaurateurs that are not opening, which is 50% of every retail store distributes food. I want to know how they're going to compensate for all the rents that we can't pay. They've never felt the pain of running a small business in the highest rent district in the country.
And this is also, affecting New York City landlords, because if the tenants, if there's so much occupancy, now they can't pay their mortgages. So this is affecting landlords, this is affecting families, this is affecting tenants, this is affecting restaurateurs, this is affecting employees. It's just a trickle-down situation. And the entrepreneurs and the restaurateurs and the small businesses are the lifeline of the economy. Like, we need these, mom and pops especially to survive this. And right now it's looking very grim. So I hope in the next coming months, they realize that, how much is on the line.
And that's really the disappointment with our leadership. De Blasio and Cuomo have never run a 7-Eleven. And you know what? They should not be making decisions for small business. New York City restaurants inside the 5 boroughs are not open indoors, but everywhere around the state is. I want to look at the data. I want to see the tri-state area. I want to see the restaurants in Nassau County and Westchester and Syracuse, and I want to see an uptick in the virus. There is none. It keeps on going down. Not just for us, the whole industry. We see what's going on out there. People are losing everything based on this decision alone. So gyms okay, bowling alleys are okay, airplanes we can fill up, and school hallways we can fill up. Restaurants in the outer boroughs, they can go 50%, but the highest rent district in New York City cannot open. And there is no relief in sight. How is this America?
And we're now announcing today that we can go to 25% of indoor dining with certain restrictions.
I think the next steps for us in the state of Florida will be to work with our 3 southern Florida counties about moving them into phase 2.
What we see next with Next Step is that we've got a tournament coming up. So we have the Alliance tournament coming up in a couple weeks. So we're super pumped. Our athletes are so excited. They've been texting, tweeting, Instagramming just how excited they are to play in that. So that's going to be awesome.
How we feel?
Amazing.
Is success really given?
No, success is
There you go. Perfect, man. Let's go. 5 more. Let's go.
So during the tournament, it's going to be business as usual. We're going to keep those same guidelines on.
You want everybody's family to be safe. That's the number one thing. You know, do we want the kids to get better? Yes, but safety and people's health is way more important.
Hey Marcus, after the drill here, we want to make sure that we're staying sanitary. So if you want to go ahead and pump a little bit on your hand there, go ahead and clean off a little bit.
A lot of the practices that we've put in place before are probably going to stay standard. As far as it goes to the X's and O's, this will be a chance to kind of implement some of the things we did last year and just continuously do that and talk. But also it's going to be a lot of in-game strategy where we haven't had a lot of time of doing a lot of team stuff. So this gives us a chance to be creative and just kind of see what works, stick to fundamental principles and, just have some fun.
Yesterday we had barely anybody stop by the sidewalk sale. That feels like a lot. I want to be honest, it's not always a good outlet. Like some days, I don't know if somebody took a picture. There was a day where I was just in that back lane out on the floor like, whew, this is a lot. It's a lot. Today feels like a lot. First of all, taking all the furniture outside is hard. Saturdays and Sundays, we take the big shelf, we take all the shelves out and all the chairs. And it's just, it's taxing. It's taxing on the furniture. I broke my couch. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a taxing process and it's heavy and, you gotta deconstruct everything inside so the inside looks kind of crazy and then you gotta rebuild it. It's a lot of work. But what really supports me is the mission. We would be a place that serves as a cultural institution. And so what we have been doing is we've been inviting musicians and artists to help us recreate that even though we're on a sidewalk. And so for 1 week we had like a 6-piece band that came with Soraya Nicole who sang and really, really blessed the sidewalk. Last week we had a pop-up drum circle because I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me and say, could we do our drum circle on, out in front of Harriet's? I said, sure, of course. Like, that is what we're here for. We're a cultural institution.
That's good. Let me get around you.
Going all the way up so it stops dripping.
All the way?
All the way.
Oh, wow. She's done a good job already. Wow.
Our plan is to reopen on the 26th. And we've been putting together a pretty dope reemergence. So we haven't announced at all anything, but so I don't know when this is gonna come out and I don't know if I'm saying too much, but we did talk to about having an ensemble work with us on our reopening. And we are excited about it. And we're gonna do it in our own way, which means that it's gonna be cool. By opening up the basement, opening up the second room, and having that children's library, it gives us 3 spaces where people could be, as opposed to like everyone trying to crowd into this one small space. And so that's really vital for us, and still continuing to have the sidewalk sale gives us a 4th space. And in an ideal universe, if I can pull it off, I will get the backyard done in time and we'll have that as a 5th space. Remember I told you before about Tina Turner, she said she don't do nothing nice and easy. We do everything a little, we add a little swag to it. What do y'all call it? Is it swag still or is that like, no, not swag anymore?
Not anymore.
What is it called? Oh, yeah. What is it called now?
I don't know.
You got
sauce. You know all that.
Yeah. Oh, a little sauce.
Yeah.
A little sauce to it. I like sauce. No, sauce is a good one. So yeah, we add a little sauce to it. I think I knew that the whole time. Cause you know, you gotta have some sauce. Yeah, and y'all know about Tina Turner?